Welcome to Punky's World. I have been sitting here writing an Irish genealogy video, looking for resources for Irish genealogy. Because obviously it's one of my big interests. Now, specifically Northern Ireland. Ireland was split between Northern Ireland, which remained a part of the United Kingdom, and the Republic of Ireland, which did not, in 1923. They have PRONI, the Public Records Office of Northern Ireland. Northern Ireland is the 6 counties of Antrim, Armagh, which is where my family was from, Londonderry, Down, Fermanagh, and Tyrone. My family was also from Tyrone. The capital, Belfast, is in Antrim. Here is what I have found. First of all, I love the Irish Genealogy Toolkit. I will link them because I just think they're fabulous. Now, if we go over here, let's turn this so you can see the screen. Well, you're not going to be able to see what I do, but you have, let's see, and this page here, this is Bespoke Genealogy, shows you, which I'll link, which ones are free, which ones are pay. Oh, you'll find a grade, of course. I'm looking for, well, there's one you don't see every day. Irish Jewish Genealogical Society. Say what? Trying to find. Okay. These are all books, as you can see. I want to show you the toolkit. Hold on. Because I like it. I like the way it's set up. I like the way it works. Let me, I'm going to pull you right off of here. Sorry. All right. Oh, side. My side. Okay, this is the toolkit. Now, okay. Ouch, it hurts. Listen to this. Listen to this. This is funny. This is like the introduction to their page. It says, Irish genealogy gained a reputation long ago for being a frustrating one-way street to disappointment and heartache and headache. Thankfully, calming potions and analgesics are no longer essential equipment for the amateur genealogist because family history in Ireland has entered a golden era. Oh, that's so funny. Um, yeah. Okay. Uh, let's click that. That's A to Z. This is all the major topics. What you have to keep in mind, I'm going to put you back on the stand here, is that, yes, Northern Ireland is part of the United Kingdom, and Southern Ireland is not, however, or the Republic of Ireland. However, you also have to keep in mind the fact that it wasn't always that way. Ireland was one country, as I mentioned, until 1923. So when my family was there, it was all one country. And maybe when your family was there. Unless, your family's from Italy or something. In which case, this is the wrong video for you. But, maybe you can help a friend. Who knows? I will tell you a few of the things essentials of Irish genealogy. One is Irish naming patterns. Holy crap. I'm going to link Irish naming patterns. Because there's no way to understand it. I would say unless you see it written out. Now, basically, as far back as I go is to John Wilson, the father of James. Okay? John is my third great-grandfather. It's my grandfather. It's my great-grandfather. It's my third great-grandfather. And, so anyway, you have John, okay, and you have his children. His oldest son would have been named after his father. Then the next son would be named after him. Then the next son would be named after his oldest brother, and so on and so forth. And then the females would follow the wife's line the same way. That's one of the critical things, and one of the things that you would think would make it a little bit easier, that actually makes it more difficult. Because then you have a zillion John Wilsons, in my case. Because you literally have, okay, the first John. Then in my direct line, you have James, who had a son, guess what? John. But my direct line is John's brother, Thomas. But we'll just keep going down John's line. John had a son, John. And then John had a son, guess what? John. And then John had a son, guess what? John. Well, then James had a son, Robert. Who had a son, Robert? Who had a son, Robert? Who had a son? After a while, you're doing one of these. So you literally have to look and say, okay, what was the birth date on this person? Because I don't know which generation John this was at this point. And that's one of the headaches that they were referring too. The other headache is that you get a birth record for a child, you don't get the mother's name. You don't get her maiden name. Oh, no. On a marriage record, you get both of the father's names of the bride and groom. You do not get the mother's name. They probably do now, but in the time period I'm talking about, the last century, they didn't, Let's see. Explore your archive. That could be cool. Irish Archives resources. One of the problems in Ireland also is with all the wars and problems that they've had, they have had a lot of records destroyed. Excuse me. Unfortunately. Gone like our 1890 census, which I wish somebody would try to put back together. Because, gosh almighty, that would be helpful. But that was destroyed in a fire, unfortunately. That's why we need to keep our records in different repositories. Keep a copy of it in this repository and this one. So if this one happens to burn to the ground, you still have a copy of it over here. That's just my opinion based on 3 decades of doing this. You really need to keep it separate. Excuse me. I have some issues with swallowing right now. I think it's gas bubble in my throat. Had it for a couple of days. I did get to take a walk today, so that's good. I didn't stay out long because I was dizzy and disorientated. I didn't feel safe because I was dizzy and disorientated, if that makes sense. I look like a drunk walking down the street. I kid you not. Like I said, the IrishGenealogyToolkit.com is awesome. See, there are census records. Civil registration is something I want to touch on here. That is another way of saying vital records. Things like birth, death, marriage. But they also have wills, probates, trying to think. Wills, probates, just all sorts of things. But it's basically it's what they call vital records. They fall under civil registrations. They have indices or indexes. They have And I have never found indices to be specific. Yep, I can talk. Specifically, in and of themselves, to be helpful. Because you always want to click on it and learn more, because you don't know for sure that that's your person. So, yeah. Unfortunately, because of it being an index doesn't show you much. It's handy if you're looking at records and those records happen to be indexed, so you can look at the index and say, oh, okay, that's the record I want to look at. Oh, that wasn't the one. Let me go to that one. And you can click and look at the record, but they're only indices, so you don't have that opportunity. Some cases you do if you'd like to pay per view, per each one you look at, which is a sucky way of doing it anyway. But it is a rather UK way of doing it, rather than the way we do it, which is like Ancestry.com, where we pay once and we can view everything that they have, instead of paying to view each record individually, which costs you a freaking fortune. So you want to be aware of that. There are some links on irishgenealogy.ie in their indexing system to actual records, which is nice. And I will tell you, records are tough to read. And like I said, this is talking about the Irish to Ellis Island. Well, yeah, except that mine went to Castle Garden, which I never did link for you, by the way. Or if I did, it was a long time ago. So, I'm going to say 3 minutes. Wow, that is taking forever. There are Irish newspaper archives. They're not real good. They're not indexed. Of course, there are Roman Catholic records, which chances are, if you're from Northern Ireland, is not going to do you a damn bit of good. Because if you're Northern Ireland, you're not Catholic. I mean, I'm sorry, if you're from Northern Ireland and you're Catholic, you're in the wrong place. Because yeah, that's what my landlord's late father used to call Fina. So that may be something you're familiar with if you've done a little Irish research, or a lot. But yeah, things to keep in mind. Just to review a little bit. country divided in 1923 into Northern Ireland and the Republic of Ireland. 2, Irish naming patterns. Oh, and 3, very much like the French, the Irish, particularly the women, went by their middle names. Oh, excuse me. Told you I had gas. Oh my goodness gracious. Anyway, sorry about that. Hopefully you'll find it funny. Trying to think what other, and keep in mind that Northern Ireland, that's the 4th thing, is connected to Scotland. Not physically connected, obviously, but the people in Northern Ireland, the reason that they're Protestant is because they were actually pushed over by the British from Scotland into Northern Ireland, pushing the Catholic Irish into what is now the Republic of Ireland. So, just some things to keep in mind while you're doing your Irish research. Again, I highly recommend the Irish Gen Toolkit. I've probably gotten more from them than any other resources just about. And you'll learn real quick the area that your family is from, like, and the towns around that area, if that makes sense. Because you'll see those towns repeated and repeated and repeated and repeated in their US records. So you'll start to figure out their areas. And that's probably true for people from other European nations as well, is that you'll start to see townland names repeat and repeat. So I think that will help. Make sure you pay attention to those things, because someday this Women in Wrestling one is going to upload. It froze last night. Froze earlier. Now it's at 96%. And I would really like it to finish uploading. Because I would like to start uploading this one and the out of isolation update. Oh, see, lots for tots. And don't be discouraged. That's another thing. If you can't find your ancestors coming into Ellis Island, not everybody did. They may have come in a different port, or they may have come in a little before Ellis Island and come into Castle Garden, which I'll leave a link to in the description. So these are some things to keep in mind. I'm trying to think if there are other. Oh, and keep in mind that the names may not be spelled, depending on, some of the names are more complicated than others, you know? Yeah, my name's Wilson, that's easy. But there's also, I also have names like Dalzell, which, with their Gaelic accent, and yes, Gaelic, not Celtic. Again, Northern Ireland is primarily Scottish. My family, at least, spoke the Scottish form of Gaelic. although I believe my great-grandfather also spoke Celtic. He spoke 7 languages, it's my understanding. So, which is amazing. For a kid who came here as a toddler, but I'm guessing his parents spoke those at least the 2 languages. Oh, I can get rid of that. I don't need that anymore. That was the alarm to take my pill. Remove 2 p.m. Remove. Yay! Now let's see how we did on oxygen last night. Still low at night, but it's fine during the day. Are you serious? Come on. If I can get that for free, that ebook. Because there is an ebook right here for handy ebook of, oh, no, you have to pay for it, which is fine, I get it. But like I said, don't be discouraged because you'll the other thing to keep in mind is vital records are called civil registrations. I'm trying to make sure that I have everything kind of laid out for you here. Like going through here at the end and stuff. So I am going to find a link to how the Irish naming pattern works, because I think that's critical. And you may also find something that we found, which is, and who knows, you may find that in other cultures as well. But we found that for some reason, my great-grandparents gave their oldest son, their first child, actually he wasn't their first child, they had a daughter, but their oldest son, their first son, to his brother, to my great-grandfather's brother. Why would they do that? Do any of you have any idea? This is a question my mother and I both often pondered. This is what was going on between the brothers that this happened. And it appeared that this brother was given children by different brothers. We don't know for sure if this brother and his wife had any children that were naturally theirs because of lack of birth records. So, but yeah, just keep in mind, you may find that somebody that's listed as your great uncle's kid is actually your grandfather's kid, your great grandfather's kid. So, because he shipped his kid over to his brother for some odd reason. Still not understood 100 years later. And, oh, come on. Anyway, I don't know why that's not working today, but at any rate, I wanted to go over Ireland with you, specifically Northern Ireland, because of, well, my connection to it, and also I'm not the only one. We have a bigger Irish population in this country than they have in Ireland. I know it sounds weird, doesn't it? There are more people here with claims to Irish origin than there are in the country itself, which is wacky when you think about it, but it's true. So I'm going to take this, because I do want to keep this. And I'm going to put this, oops, back here. So I want to keep this for myself. Ah, dang it. Ugh. Okay, closed. There we go. Okay. Oh, SteveMorse.org is another one that I really have gotten a lot out of, both Irish and otherwise. So please check these sites out. Please let me know what you think. Please let me know what you find. You know, because it's always fun. I remember we were at the archives, and Mom was looking at the census records on microfilm at the time. This was a long time ago. And she goes to my father, and she says, Willie, come here, look at this. Oh my God. Thomas's parents were here. They were here. And so it's pretty exciting when you find stuff like that. And then you begin finding the other kids, and fortunately for me, if it goes back to Enfield, Mass, it's probably really and you're going to find that too, that there are places that your family came to when they came to this country. Because everybody's family came to this country. Unless you're 100% Native American Indian, your family came here from someplace. So, because that's just the country we live in. Oh, I checked out that Mary Dyer thing. It was a lady doing sign language, which is fine, but not something I want to sit and watch for an hour and a half. So I'll have to find something else, but thank you so much for joining me on this Irish genealogical quest. God bless you. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you so much. Please hit like and subscribe. Bye-bye.